You know, the old saying goes, you should eat oysters a month with the letter R.
Like November. And for Coffee with, balling from Maryland, I got in the water with local oyster farmers.
A beautiful morning on Solomon's Island. We head out on the Patuxent River and visit a farm underwater.
I think the water is going to be cold.
So get yourself acclimated.
This is where we hold our oysters.
Nick Butler is an oyster farmer with 38 North. Instead of harvesting oysters in the wild,
You can actually grab it.
All right, I got it.
Start pulling it.
Okay.
Butler and his crew raise them in floating cages.
Open the cage,
And you pull out a bag?
any bag you like.
He spends 4 to 5 hours a day in the water, which is 75 degrees today.
And you guys are in the water 24/7, 12 months a year.
Just about.
Wow. Even in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's what the suit's for.
This is aquaculture, breeding, rearing, and harvesting aquatic animals.
At this particular location right now, there's about 2 million oysters.
38 North owner J.D. Blackwell explains oysters are spawned in their nursery.
This is fresh seed from this year, stuff that started off life late this spring.
The tiny oysters go into these bags. Eventually,
The bag goes from being about 10% full to about 60. And so they've been eating and feeding like crazy. So then we bring a bag here on the boat. We dump them into these buckets, split them up. Then we put back 3 or 4 or 5 times as many bags in the water. And we go through that cycle over and over.
about a year later,
This is a full-grown oyster.
It's an oyster ready for market.
This is an oyster ready for market.
So one bag turns into many bags.
Oysters filter huge volumes of water, removing suspended material from the water and cleaning the bay.
in a state-funded experiment at the Chesapeake Biological Lab, scientists mirror conditions in the Chesapeake Bay and learn how to improve aquaculture.
There is much more ownership of the oysters. They know where they've been placed. They know how many are there. There aren't the same concerns about sustainability.
Director Thomas Miller predicts within 10 years, most of the oysters we consume will come from farms, not the wild.
Aquaculture is the future of oysters in the Chesapeake Bay.
20 pounds. Feels heavier than 20 pounds.
Maybe 4, just about. This has been a great batch to look at.
Back in the Bay, Butler's time and patience pays off.
Pretty much just like raising a kid. You gotta watch it, you gotta protect it, you gotta make sure she's gonna be all right.
Beautiful. Yeah, go on.
A lot of people underestimate the amount of time and
Yes.
effort it takes to
Exactly.
invest in that type
And
of stuff.
I was thinking all oysters were just harvested. You know,
Yeah.
someone just went out and found them in the wild. And so it was really interesting to see how they raised them from the beginning over the course of a year, and then they're ready for us to eat.
You know, that could really be considered one of the micro dirty jobs because you got to do that 24/7 or 365. And
I know. Imagine how cold the water is going
it's
to be in the
cold in
winter.
December. Ooh.
And they've got to get in there for 5-6 hours at a time.
That's not for me. Thank you, Nick
No.
Butler, for doing it.
We'll be right back with more news, weather, and traffic after this.